Yes, xin chào. Hello. Well, welcome to another episode of Lit in English. And this week we are going to continue where we left off last week. But first of all, thank you very much for joining us on today's presentation. And it is our mission to spread these amazing knowledge to every corner of the world. And this is the journey of reaching a holistic wealth or a holistic life. And thanks to these amazing knowledge, we have learned through the principle of light that there are four main categories in life that we need to be aware of. And through that, we will be able to be proactive rather than reactive. And in that way, we will be able to stand above all problem that might comes up in life. So once again, thank you very much to the teacher, the mentor, and all the wise men that have shared these amazing knowledge with us. And it is, I take it to my duty to provide a presentation, and together we will explore these amazing knowledge in a much deeper level. So once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. And during the presentation, feel free to ask question in the chat section, or you can also raise your hand and ask question if you would like to. And just a quick announcement. So every week we will have a presentation just like this on Wednesday evening at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is around noon, 12 p.m. in Vietnamese time. And this is going to be a weekly gathering. So thank you for joining us. All right. So let's do this. All right. Just a quick recap on last week. Last week we introduced the principle of light, and what the principle of light said is that instead of focusing on the problem, instead of focusing on the darkness and trying to get rid of the darkness, it will be the more productive way to bring light into the dark room. Because with the presence of light, darkness will disappear. And as simple as it is, this is in fact a proven method in a scientific way, because as I explained last week, there are big company that has been trying to solve their problem when running a business, and they have spent a lot of money trying to fix the problem, which similar to trying to get darkness outside of the room. And what they found out is that the problem didn't go away. In fact, by trying to get rid of any particular problem, it actually attract more problem to the operation of the company. Therefore, all of the scientists and the company started to do a different approach, which instead of focusing on the problem, they started to focus in on what works. And thanks to that, by focusing on what works, what bring in productivity, it is like focusing on bringing light into the room. And having the focus on what works, it lit up the operation, and slowly all of the problem, all of the negativity started to go away. And that would call being proactive rather than being reactive. So the reactive approach is when we see a problem and we actively looking for an answer, looking for a way to solve it. Being proactive is being prepared, being um, having a measure to prevent. It is a preventative measure. And the best way to look at it is, let's say, we look at health instead of waiting to get sick and being reactive toward getting sick and take medication. We can be proactive by exercising, by taking supplement to improve our health. And once we can maintain good health, then we don't have to worry about getting sick. So that is a huge difference between being proactive and being reactive. And once again, the principle of light tell us that we want to be proactive. We want to light up the dark room. And last week we also go over the four main category that the wise man, our teacher, our mentor, has shared with us, that we can actually simplify all problem in life into four categories. That is the inner self, health, relationship, and finance. And the beautiful thing about this is that all four of these categories, they are interconnected. And instead of waiting for the problem to occur, we will be proactive. We will work on our inner self, our health, our relationship, and our finance. We make it better. We will make the light brighter, and that will help us stand above the problem. All right. So that is the framework for today's presentation. And this is the time that I would like to invite you to grab another piece of paper. And if you have pen and paper, I encourage you to draw along the way, because by drawing in along the way, you will remember it much better. Okay. So similar to last week, I would like to invite you to draw a house, but this one, it will be a bigger house. And then at the bottom of the house, at the foundation, let's write the word inner self. Inner self. And then on the left side, let's write the word health. On the right hand side, I would like you to write the word relationship. Let's do this. Relationship. And up top, let's draw some dollar sign to represent for money. And this will be finance. Okay. Now, imagine that this is your house. In order to build the house, we have to have a very strong foundation. So inner self is like the foundation of the house. And this is the reason we have the inner self at the very bottom. And for this program, it would actually call understanding your inner self, materialize the desirable life. So the foundation is very, very important. And if you was here last week, you will remember that most people they tend to fall into the trap of focusing on finance because people believe that with enough money, their problem will go away. That is the common belief. But that is not the entire picture because if you were to look at any successful people that you have know of, you will realize that even though they had money, but they still struggle in life. Even though they had money, they are not happy. They are not entirely happy with what they have. And they didn't understand that there are more to life than just money. Because obviously there's the inner self, how you feel inside. Can you find your inner peace, for example? And then health, you know, what is the point of having a lot of money if you don't have health to enjoy it? What is the point of having money if you don't have anyone to spend the money with? And oftentimes, when I observe um, the people around me, even the successful people, I realize that many of them they actually trading their health for money. They actually trading their relationship for money because they are working so much they didn't have time for their family. They didn't have time to eat right. They didn't have time for exercising. And they spend so much time working that they don't have time to take care of themselves, to take care of the way that they feel inside. And that is the trap of trading health, inner self, and relationship for money. And a lot of people they are making this mistake and they are not even aware of it. But thankfully, we get to learn about this knowledge, and we are now aware of the four pillars, the four important categories that we need to take care of in order to have a good life. And today we are going to learn about the seven holistic wealth. All right. It is called the seven holistic wealth because there are seven seven things that you can focus on to to be proactive rather than reactive because of the complexity, because of the interconnectedness of the inner self, health, relationship, and finance. We need to have the element that kind of keeping it together, kind of like gluing everything together. Therefore, in order to have great inner self, have good health, have healthy relationship, and have financial wellness, the master shared with us the seven holistic wealth that we can focusing on to learn more. And I would like to invite you to draw a hexagon right at the middle. And hello, Julia Assembly. All right, let's continue. And then connect that to the house. And this is what keeping the house together. So right at the middle of the house, I would like you to write the word virtue. And underneath of virtue, we had wisdom. And on the left-hand side, there's presence. And to the right of wisdom, we have nobility. Then on the top right is capability. Capability. Then up top, there's material. Then top left, there's physics. And this is the seven holistic wealth. And everything that we have here is very, very intentional. For example, as you can see, we have wisdom at the very center, the bottom center. Wisdom is very close to the inner cell, to the foundation. And one of the main focus of this journey is to help you elevate wisdom, to elevate your knowledge, your understanding. And we can only get wisdom through the inner self. We have to go inward in order to attain wisdom. And that is the foundation. That is the very, very strong foundation for everything else. And as you can see, nobility is a characteristic that can help you build relationship. And in order to build nobility, to form that characteristic, is also need the foundation of the inner self, because how you feel inside is how you can connect to other. There's a famous saying that you have to love yourself first in order to love other. Therefore, in order to have healthy relationship, you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself. And this is the reason that we have nobility at the bottom corner on the right that closely connect to relationship. Similarly, for health and the connection between health and the inner self, we have presence. And presence is very, very powerful. And for the purpose of today, I would like to focus a little bit of our time on presence. And the reason that it is so important is that presence is how, when a person walk into the room, you can feel their presence. If you can help me imagine back when you were in school, okay, and then when the teacher walked in to the room to start the class, you can feel their presence. You can starting to see that your classmate is settling down, right? The room become more quiet, and the entire class is getting ready for the lesson for that particular class. What about, let's say, the president of the United States? He recently visited Vietnam. Can you feel anything when he walked into the room, when he started like giving the speech? Well, absolutely, that there is the present of the president. Okay. And for me, for example, recently we have a young baby girl, Bella Luna. And when we gave birth to Bella Luna, there's a doctor. And I can feel his presence when he walked into the room. because prior to the presence of the doctor, there are nurses, and the nurses they was doing a great job. But when the doctor show up, there is a very different type of energy. The entire room is very calm, and there's no worry because the doctor is there. So the idea of present is very, very powerful because present not only it show how healthy a person is, present can also show the inner world of a person, and it's project how the person is from the inside out, because the presence of a doctor is different from the presence of a nurse. The presence of a teacher is very different from the presence of a student. And one example that I found fascinating is the case of Donald Trump, because he can have many, many different presents. And if you are familiar with the story of Mr. Donald Trump, he is a billionaire, very, very successful billionaire. And he ran for president. So he became the president of the United States. And because of the fact that he has so many success in business as well as in politics, he learned to have different presence. Okay, the way that he talked as a president is very different from his appearance when he speak as a businessman, or the way that he talked to his business partner is very different from the way that he tried to talk to his employee. So a person can have many, many presences in different scenario, different situation. And if you can enrich your presence in life using your wisdom of the inner self, that will get you very, very far. And I recently had realized that this realization, I realized that successful people at the very top, they are very capable of many, many positions. And each of the position that they take, they have different preferences. And if you can master this, it will open so many doors. And the reason that I'm focused a lot on present, because for present, you can see the material part of it as in how a person present themselves, the way they walk, the way they talk. That is material. That is tangible. But their present alone is not just how you see them, but their wisdom, the way that they feel inside, the knowledge that they have, the way they carry in themselves, the energy. And we can call that the immaterial or the intangible thing. And this is extremely, extremely critical. I didn't realize this in the past, but I can feel it more now, that there are two part that make up anything pretty much. But in this case, let's talk about a person. You can feel the material part of the person, and you can feel the immaterial part of the person. And yeah, a person can be a teacher, but when they come home, they can be a wife to their husband, they can be a mother to their child. And that very same person can be a business woman. That very same woman can be a leader. So here we can see that the immaterial value plus the material value is what create the whole. And in order to have the holistic wealth, okay, the title of today's presentation is the seven holistic wealth. In order to have it whole, in order to have the wholesome of it, we have to understand the material and the immaterial. And I'm going to go over this in just a little bit. But the next part of the holistic wealth is virtue. Virtue is very, very, very powerful because it is similar to present. When a person live according to their virtue, people can see it, people can feel it. And the example of a woman, as I said earlier about the present, that also related to virtue, because as a teacher, the woman has to have the virtue of a teacher. As a wife to her husband, she have to have certain virtue to be a good wife or to be a good mother, a good businesswoman, a leader. And the combination of present, virtue, and wisdom is the three pillar that can help you define the character or the personality of a person as a whole. So virtue and present is something that I would say that you can feel it in the material world or the physical world, and also in the immaterial world or the invincible world, some might call it. All right. So from virtue, present, wisdom, and nobility, it will fall under immaterial. Now, and I will write this down for you. And the top up top here, the physique, material, and capability, that will be put in the category of material. And the reason that it put in the material category, because the physique of a person, how they look physically, how fit they are, you can see it. And their capability, okay, when you look at a doctor or a lawyer, you can see their ability. They can demonstrate their ability. What about a teacher? Yes, the teacher can demonstrate his or her capability. Therefore, capability, it can be seen at a material. And material in itself is pretty self-explanatory. Material can be your house, your car, money, the shirt that you wear. So the wealth in material is something that most people are very, very familiar with. And material connected to finance. And because the fact that things like money, car, houses is connected directly to finance, and it is a form of tangible thing. It is material. People often mistake having good finance is having a good life. That is an illusion because, again, as I explained earlier in the presentation, there are many people who have good finance, but they don't have necessarily a good life. They don't have good health. They might not have good inner self, and they might not have good relationship. And I know this to be a fact because I've been there, right? I was born and raised in Vietnam, so there was time that I did not have much money, and then later we got lucky, have some decent investment, and the money come. But sometimes when I look back, I wasn't happier compared to when I was young. Because when I was just a baby, I feel great because my parents take care of me. I had good health. My parents gave me a lot of attention. Same for my friends. And the financial part, I didn't need much. But as I get older and start to make money, start to have responsibility, then I no longer have a lot of time for many of my relationship. I didn't have enough time for myself. Didn't have enough time to exercise. So my overall happiness does not increase. So again, I want to emphasize that material wealth is only one of the seven pillars that can help you reach the the holistic life, right? Okay, so let's uh let's grab another piece of paper so we can go in much deeper in the material and the immaterial. So before I get the new piece of paper here, I want to mention again the bottom four that you see here, as in wisdom, virtue, present, nobility. These four will be immaterial. The top three, physique, material, capability, it will fall under the material. So let's just grab another piece of paper. And let's write the word material top. And let me remind ourselves that the three for material would be capability, and then material, material, and then physique. And to make it clear, material here is an adjective, and material on the right is a noun, as is your house, your car, your money. Material here means that this is a group of material. And then secondly, we have immaterial. Immaterial. And here we have wisdom. And then we have presence. And then we have virtue. And last but not least, nobility. Nobility. Again, the seven pillar combining together, this will give you the seven holistic Now, it is extremely, extremely important that we separate these seven holistic wealth, because most people are familiar with the material. As I mentioned earlier, most people are familiar with the money, but that is a trap. That is an illusion. Okay. In this journey, we will learn the importance of the inner self. We will learn that inner self is the foundation. And this will help us build a house as big as we can. All right. Through the inner self, the material can be like way beyond your imagination. And this is the difference between the millionaire, the billionaire, and average people. And the focus that I want us to focusing on today is the material, which is wisdom, presence, virtue, nobility. All right. Because if you were to look at a person, and let's say if they are standing still, if they have the same hairstyle, the same dress on, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between, let's say, a millionaire with a homeless man. Okay, if they were to just stand there and not saying anything, if they were to look exactly the same, you will not be able to tell. But if you can talk to them and learn more about them, you will realize their educational level. You will start to realize how well informed they are, how much money they make, for example, how experienced they are, how many friends that they have, what kind of connection that they have. Most of us have heard of the saying, "It is not about what you know; it is all about who you know." So a person by themselves is not just a person. You have to consider their entire network of friends and family. Okay. So if we were to look back in time, let's say a couple of 100 years ago, even 1,000 years ago, everybody wanted to be king, right? Because king has both wealth and power. Even though a king might look just like a normal person, but behind the king, there is an army of thousands of soldiers, even hundreds of thousands. It could go to the million. So the immaterial part, the part that you cannot see, determine the true value of person. Because if you were to just look at their physique, at the material that they have, the capability, you will not be able to judge a person based on just that. And that is the powers of the immaterial. And there's a story that I would like to tell you to demonstrate that. About 10 or 15 years ago, I was in my 20s, and I was very interested in making a lot of money because I wanted to retire early. So I bought a book, and I believe it's called The Millionaire Mindset. And that book shows you how to be a millionaire or how to make $1 million. And one quote that stand out in that book to me is that the author said, in order to make $1 million, you have to be a millionaire first. And that was very puzzling to me because the definition of a millionaire is that you have to have at least $1 million or several $1 million. So as a young boy, I was more interested in the money. I was more interested in how I can make that $1 million. But here, this guru, this multi-millionaire guy tell me that in order to make that $1 million, I have to be a millionaire first. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean by that? What he means is that there are immaterial value that most people don't know of. In order to make the material, in order to get that wealth, in order to get that money, we have to build ourselves up in the immaterial world. We have to have wisdom, we have to have presence, we have to have virtue, we have to have nobility. And in that book, the author laid down that, you know what, there are things that millionaires do and other people don't. And he said that we need to start reading more books to gain knowledge. He said that all successful people wake up at around 4 or 5 a.m. They have their ritual, they have their routine, and they tell you what you need to do when you wake up, like drinking a bottle of water right when you waking up, because you lose a lot of water during sleep. And then you have to like clean up, exercise for a little bit, even meditation. And all of the thing that the author said is working on the immaterial, the thing that people cannot see. So in order to create the material wealth, it is important. And it is the only way to build the material wealth. You got to build your immaterial wealth. And there's the beauty of this journey, the journey of understanding your inner self, building a better life, material life, that 7 holics of wealth. And through the immaterial, we can tell the difference between a millionaire with an average person who just working their 9-to-5 job for money. And obviously there is even the level above a millionaire that I see here in the US, because we have like billionaire and people just have like insane amount of wealth. But all of them start with self-help. They all start with working on themselves. They started on building up their immaterial value. And this does not only count for people, it's also count for product. And if you are familiar with limited item in the market, like a handbag or watch or jewelry, there are products that are very cheap to make, but because the maker of the company, the factory that creating the material, they have something like limited item, like cars, for example. Instead of making tens of thousands of Toyota Camry, they would have like a limited edition of Toyota Camry. Let's say they only make 1,000 of it. And in that 1,000 car, they put more luxurious option into it. And that increased the value of the car. So yes, you pay more money for more option on the car. But then that in itself is still way more than that what you was had to pay to get those options. But the thing is, people are still buying it because of the immaterial value. A clearer example would be a Rolex watch. And I read up the story about Rolex, and they did something amazing. So in the beginning, Rolex is just like any other watches. And by that time, people know how to make good watch. They know how to make it functionable. But Rolex did something very different. They they pay famous people, they pay successful people to wear their watch. And they created the campaign showing how stylish their watch are by paying successful people wearing it in public. And over time, they make limited edition of the watch and they sell their watch for thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands. Some can go up to millions of dollars, even though the cost of making the watch only in hundreds of dollars, but people would pay $1 million for their watches. That is pretty strange, right? Like, why would someone pay $1 million for a product that costs only hundreds to make, or even like thousands to make? But the answer is the researcher did a research study on this, and they realized that by the time the Rolex watch become the popular and the simple that it is today, people buying it not for the function of it, as in they don't buy that watch to just looking at the time. They don't just buy that watch as the jewelry, but the watch itself is a representation of their social status. Because only successful people can afford a Rolex, and only smart people can have enough money to invest in a Rolex because it is a limited edition and the value of it increase over time. And the maker of Rolex, they are super smart because they understood the importance of the immaterial, and they immaterialize the material. Okay, they immaterialize the watch, and the watch no longer just a watch. The Rolex watch is the representation of wisdom of a successful person. The Rolex watch is a representation for the present of a person, because when the person walk in the room with the watch, everybody notices. It's also represent a virtue of a person. It's also is a representation of their nobility, their connection, their friends. So Rolex did something very amazing. They changed the meaning of a watch from just a device that can tell you time to a representation of a successful person. So similar to Rolex, if you can remember like a headphone, the headphone that I'm wearing right now, uh, there's a time that everybody in the US, all of the kids that I know of, they wear a headphone made by Dr. Dre, like beat by Dr. Dre. You probably remember the commercial of all of the NBA, as in like basketball player. They all wear beat by Dre before every game. You see a lot of commercial of successful people wearing it. Even actor and actress in Hollywood, you will see them walking around with beat by Dre. And what most people don't realize that they actually get paid to wear it. They was gifted the product, and they was able to do this because Dr. Dre has a lot network of friends, and he understood the idea of immaterialize his headphone, which is a material. And over time, during the short periods, the symbol of wearing a headphone had a lot more meaning than just listening to music or listening to whatever audio that the user is listening to. The the image, the image of a person walking around with the headphone can show their present, the present of an athlete that is about to get into an important game, the present of a keynote speaker that is about to give a presentation. Beat by Dre, the headphone represent for wisdom, represent for virtue, represent for nobility. And Beat by Dre did something very similar to Rolex, that he was able to immaterialize material. And this principle here, it holds true for everything. And understanding this, we realize the importance of working on our material and immaterial. Hence, the meaning of the 7 holistic wealth. Right. So let's go back to the holistic house that we have here. So as you can see, the importance of the immaterial element of wisdom, present, virtue, and nobility. And the very foundation of it is the inner self. You have got to understand your inner self. And when I talk about inner self, it's not just how you feel inside, but it is about how you can connect to yourself. And it is super important. If we can look at the perspective of science, everything that we can feel right now, okay? Like I can look at my computer screen here, I can see it, I can hear myself talking, I can touch everything, I can smell the air around me, I can even taste my own saliva. And those are tools that can help me get a sense of the world around me. So everything that I can comprehend, it is all about my inner self. That is the importance of it. Like we don't realize it, just like a fish doesn't realize that it is in water. We don't even realize that we're surrounded by air. We don't realize that all our senses are in here from our inner self. Therefore, if we can understand our inner self, and if we can work on our inner self, we will be able to work on our immaterials of wisdom, presence, virtue, and ability. And through that, we will be able to build a very strong foundation for our home. And similar to the dark room that we have learned previous week, instead of focusing on darkness, instead of focusing on the problem, we bring light into the room. And similarly, we will lit up 7 candles in this 7 room. And this is the secret to happiness, secret to build a holistic life. So if you can draw a candle like this, what we will do, we will lit up. Okay, this program is lit in English. So we lit up 7 candles, represent for the 7 holistic wealth. We will start with wisdom. And with wisdom, we will be able to lit up the candle of presence. And when I say lit up this candle, I mean that we bring light into the room. That means darkness will go away. we are being proactive rather than reactive. And we don't have to worry about a problem that might occur in life. And this is very, very powerful. So what we will offer is not just the understanding of the four category of life, as in the inner self, health, relationship, and finance. We was offered the solution to all of it, because through this knowledge, we know what we need to work on. And what we are working on is lit up the dark room, lit up to 7 room. And we together, we will make our room even brighter. And imagine uh, a community of similar belief that are like-minded, that all of us can lit up our own house. Imagine a village, a city full of lit up house like this. You will see a neighborhood lit up, a country lit up, even the world itself lit up. And the holistic well is not just your holistic well. The holistic well that we are speaking of is the holistic well of the entire world. And this is our journey. And this reached the end of my presentation. If you would like to interact, or if you have any question, feel free to raise your hand or just type it in the chat box. If not, then we will see each other same time every week at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or on Wednesday, or noon 12 p.m. Vietnamese time. And sorry to all of my friends in the East Coast. I know it's like 2 a.m. over there, but this is what worked for me at this time and for my friends in Vietnam. So we're gonna keep this time for now. But in the future, if we have more requests for the Eastern Standard Time, then I can try to do this a little bit earlier. But yeah, this is the 7 holistic wells, everyone. And to me, if you can understand just it, that's all you need. You are done. But of course, we have more to offer. So it's going to be a journey. And I am your fellow journeyer. Thank you for being my fellow journeyers. And let's materialize this lit house. Let's materialize the lit community. And we will make it happen. Ian Butler say that, how can I watch more of it? There's a YouTube channel that had my previous presentation, but I think the best way is to just join us every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This presentation is recorded and will be available in our YouTube channel. So if you can Google lit, or you will LIT, and you will find us with the symbol lit there. So, but yeah, I think as I'm going on this journey, everyone, like I understand it better. We has been making this presentation available since January 1st, 2023, but I am in this journey as well, and we are in this together. So I think the best way is to just join us every Wednesday evening, US time, Pacific Standard Time, and we will grow together. The previous presentation for season 1, 2, and 3, they are very good as well. So you feel free to check that out. but it is best that we are going on this journey together. So thank you very much for joining us, and I will see you next time.